What's going on, everybody? It's Durka from Whataweeb, and I got a little something different, a little review for you guys on Devilman Crybaby. Yes, the new Netflix series that came out, I think, a week ago. I finally got around to watching it. I got a lot of people telling me to watch it. A lot of mixed opinions on this anime. I just want to start this off with saying that this is my first experience with the Devilman World franchise, whatever you may call it, and so I don't really have any biases coming in, I guess. I hope, but I also don't have any background experience to tell you, yeah, this is how it should have happened, or, oh, they did this part well. But that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to give you a review based off my opinion, and I'm going to make this as spoiler-free as I can. I may make some broad references that, okay, now you kind of have an idea of something, but nothing like specific scenes or anything. I'm not going to stray away from that, straight to that. And I want you guys to know that this is my opinion. If you guys have different opinions on the anime, feel free to let me know in the description, comment section below. I'd be happy to know that. And yeah, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, show your support for the channel. Without further ado, let's just jump into this. Alright, so I'm going to break this down a little bit just because a lot of things I do want to talk about. So the first thing I do want to discuss is the animation. Devilman Crybaby has very different animation than most of us are probably used to these days. It's actually pretty amazing, because of that. It feels rough. It kind of looks a little rough too, but it works. It works really well for the story they're trying to tell, and I don't think they could have picked a better animation style for it, because they're not scared of throwing anything. You know, they can't use a cute animation style because this is a very gory, bloody, violent anime. You know, it wouldn't fit. But this style they use is like a nice, cool and ruggish style that works really well with those gory, bloody scenes. The fighting is very nice. Like the animations for the fight, very, very clean. You feel it, you know, and especially with the music going on in the background, you feel it. I'll talk about music later, but heads up, it's amazing. And really, it just really worked well for Devilman, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. I think the animation was on point. It was good. It was good. That's all it is. It's good. Next, let's start talking a little bit about the story and characters. Alright, so Devilman. It really follows Akira Fudo, the main character. It follows him really well. It tests his humanity constantly. They build up on his and other characters' backstories as the anime goes on, so you kind of learn more information as you keep watching, which is really cool. I love that kind of learning experience if it's done right. And trust me, I think they did it right. So, trust me, I think. But anyway, I can't really talk about Devilman without talking about conflict. So, Akira kind of had his own set of rules. And he would just be pushed to his limit so many times throughout so many episodes of not breaking those rules. I'm not going to say what the rules are because I don't want to give you guys spoilers. And the inner conflict he feels from dealing with his own personal problems and the outer conflict with the outside world, they're very serious. They're both very serious and heavy conflicts he has to deal with every day. But it is wonderfully done. It is wonderfully woven together so that it just works. You appreciate the inner conflict, and that even makes the outer conflict better. The outer conflict really, you know, wild and crazy, which makes the inner conflict even better. I mean, you really can't help but feel for Akira. He fights for his cause, whatever that may be. Even though he's broken down so much with what the story does to him, there are times he's on the line of crossing that line, you know, breaking his oath, his credo, whatever you may call it. And does he cross that line? Well, I'm gonna let you guys watch the anime to find that out. But all this together really makes the climax of the show that much more with like a clutch factor that's just very well written, very, very nice. You know, this is just my honest opinion on it. I wish they had a couple more episodes just so they could flesh a little bit more out. But with the 10 episodes they were given, they did an amazing job. And moving on forward a little bit more with conflict, the anime explores a lot about the good and bad of humanity, society, whatever you may call it. You know, humans can do evil. Humans can do some very messed up things. In this anime, they do a lot of messed up things. So that, you may think I say messed up, that could mean something, but you don't know the meaning of it until you watch this, unless maybe you watch the first Devilman or something. But, yeah, so humans can do evil, you know, demons can do good. humans can switch how they act on a dime based off the situation they're in. The way they're given information, the way that they try to look out for themselves just by putting blame on someone else. It really does make humans look bad for a lot of the anime. And I just want to take a little bit to discuss detail the conflict between Ryo and Akira, two very important characters in the show, two of the main characters. You meet them both in episode 1, without giving away anything like too much. Their conflict is very beautifully done. They're very different people, and you kind of learn that since episode 1. Intelligence, how they feel about things, like everything's there, but they're also best friends. And that's what just makes it even better, because you see how their conflict increases throughout the show until it's kind of just they can't see eye to eye anymore. They're just polar opposites. That's what it is. They realize they're polar opposites. As the outer conflict increases, their conflict also, it's just everything plays into each other so well. I just can't. And moving on. Let me get off of conflict a little bit. A little bit more on the story. So there are parts of episodes you may think that, or have no idea what's happening. Like I thought, I'm like, why are they showing this? Why are they putting so much time into this character and they're doing all this stuff? Well, that all comes together. Literally, just give it some time and you'll be like, oh my god, that's why she was doing that. That's why that was happening. They wanted to show and have this whole thing make sense rather than just throwing it at your face. I loved it. I was just like, they're spending like 5 minutes on this character who's not an important character. She's not with any of the main characters, and it's kind of like, okay, but then it comes together and it all goes back to Akira and this whole outer conflict of the world. And the main story, it just makes the main story that more lush, more fleshed out, etc. I could go on talking about conflict for a while, so let's move on to a little bit about change. So the world changes a lot in this anime. You have people living their day-to-day lives, and then they realize they have to fight this, they have to face the unknown. All of them. Once again, I'm trying to give as little away. You kind of see this kind of not post-apocalyptic, but dystopia type world forming. Kind of like a military state, people not being able to trust each other. Just going back to that whole idea that humans cannot trust each other. Just because they have this enemy they don't know about, they don't know, maybe that's my enemy, who knows? And they just degenerate into these, honestly, I can't even call them humans sometimes. They're these messed up beings, comparable, if not worse, than demons. I do want to make this known that the anime does take its time to show that not everybody is like that. It does show people who are not like that. Some of the really important characters are not like that, that are human. So, it's not that everyone's like that. It's just that humans can do some really bad things based off the situation they're in, and it really does detail how humanity is. Are we naturally evil? Are we naturally good? Naturally evil or good, or born with a blank slate? It goes back to Lockean and all those philosophies from way back when. And, alright, moving forward. Imagery, okay. They use imagery so beautifully. They'll show scenes where they go back to the past, show how things happen, show how the current situation looks like, except with them as kids, or they'll show these crazy pictures or scenes where these guys mean, the family, and as people die, it shows them breaking down. It's crazy how they go back to those scenes with this beautiful imagery. There are scenes where the people are reminiscing because so much has changed since they first met. They were. I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm actually gonna stop myself there so I don't go off. But the whole thing is that you get this feeling of no one wanted this to happen, but it did, because no one was right. Everyone is messed up. That's really it. Now let's go a little bit into the side characters. I did mention a little bit earlier, but let's just go a little bit more in depth. I feel like a lot, if not all, the side characters had enough exposition and character development to have you kind of care about them. Honestly, the ones that got very little, I even was like, wow, I really like that character. That's really cool. And it's great. You kind of get attached to a lot of the characters, because, at least the main characters, because they kind of they're not evil, you know, they're not good, they're not bad, they're not evil, you know, they're just normal, and they're just trying to help. So seeing things happen to them, like what happened to Devilman, you feel for them. And everyone's just super built up. That's in that case, you can't. They're all just trying to help each other out at one point, even if they change, etc., to be like a better person, which shows that, you know, humans can grow. People who are initially bad can still do good. They don't have to do evil. And I really like that kind of theme that goes on throughout the entire show. And honestly, I have to tell you guys one thing about the story. Devilman is very little BS. If anything, you have like one scene where, you know, they show up in the nick of time to save the day. Like, you will see death, very, very messed up gore and violence throughout the show because it portrays humans in a very negative light a lot of the time. I know I've said it a couple times already, but I just have to keep pushing it because that is the theme of the show, you know, and I can't even count the times I said, no, I can't do this right now, or like, no, this can't be happening, just because the show went there. Like, I'm thinking it, I'm like, no, and they go there. It's not like a Sword Art Online where you know, character comes in to save the day at the last second. It's not like that. You know, they run, they try to make it away, but end of the day, they don't make it. There's no BS. There's no, oh, I made it in time to save you. No, there isn't. It's just, it happens, and that's just part of the show. If anything, I could say there's a lot of, I find a lot of similarities between Evangelion and this show. A little bit, like, I could see some similarities between them, and it's not happy. It's not, if you guys look at something happy-go-lucky, this is not your show. I'm sorry. And honestly, at the end of the day, you don't even know how to feel about the bad guy or the good guys. You don't know how to feel about them, because at the end of the day, no one wins. Like, there's no clear winner. And anime is usually so good at that, giving you that winner. Like, think about One Piece. Luffy's the main character. He's the good guy. Everybody he fights is usually kind of bad, you know? It's like, they're not like, you know, supposed to do bad, you know, they don't have a reason to be bad. They're just bad. But I'll stop there on that and go on to the music. Oh, God. The music was perfect. It fit amazingly well. I had no complaints during epic fights and scenes. There was the proper music. There were scenes there were no sound. No sound, because they were setting a tone without sound. I know it sounds crazy, but like, they did it right. Beautifully done. I have no complaints. I can't say anything wrong with the soundtrack. It fit the anime perfectly. All right. So that's the quick rundown. I'm going to give you my final thoughts now. So while I was watching this series on Netflix, there was a certain thought that kept coming up in my mind. It was, you know, the anime is not afraid of pushing the limit. What do I mean by limit? The anime is very jarring. I know I said that before. They have no worries using gore, violence, drugs, sex, rape, etc. that current anime today does not push. It will use those to emphasize its overall theme, that humans can be evil. You know, humans do bad. Society is not perfect. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, today we see a lot of moe content, you know, happy, white knight, people coming in to save the day, like shonen type things. This does not do that. Rare, you know, are the main characters these days that keep losing. But Devilman Crybaby is perfectly fine with not using those current fads and tropes of today. They go to the other side of the spectrum, you know, literally opposite side, kind of like how Berserk kind of is on the opposite side of the spectrum than current modern day stuff. And as I said, God knows how many times, Devilman Crybaby is an anime where nobody wins. You can't say anyone wins. Everyone is a loser, and there's a cycle. It just states that the cycle will continue on and on again. And like, the last fight of the anime is like Gurren Lagann level, if they had some more time. I really did wish they had another episode or two, but, you know, it doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, nobody wins. No one is happy. because everyone loses something precious to them. In some cases, that precious thing was the only thing they cared about. So losing that, they don't know how to act, even if they may win. But at the end of the day, no one wins. But I definitely recommend this anime to you weebs out there. If you can handle gory anime that's trying to prove a point about society and humanity, kind of giving you a little social commentary a little bit, while giving you a nice action-packed anime, I definitely recommend you guys watch this. You weebs, watch this. It is good. It is very good. I hope I was not, I was able to keep as many spoilers out of it as I could. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this, remember to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Show your support for this channel. Become a weeb today, if you're not one already. And yeah, in the description below are links to all our playlists and stuff. But without further ado, this has been Durka, and Sayonara.